So guys, welcome back to my video, and today's topic is how to add value. You guys have to understand that no matter what happens in life, you have to understand that you have to add value. You need to be a person who's adding value, and you need to realize that no matter what, when you're around people, you realize that sometimes you need to realize to add value anyway. You have to understand that no matter what, in this video you'll be a person of high integrity, because that's how to get ahead. You have to understand that no matter what, you need to be a person who's really lifting. You need to realize that it's really about lifting others, and those people who lift others are really going to be able to do everything. I currently have this video playing around people, and they may be walking around, and as you see of this nature, I promise you, although that it can be distracting, I realize that no matter what, that I just keep going, because I never let anything affect me. And that's the whole point. I realize the whole point of life is to really be someone who is much more in terms of communication, and also is never letting anything get to them. You would understand that those people who add value are the ones who have a mindset for a better way. I mean, they're the ones who are really, let's say, open-minded, and they're helping you to really grow, because you have to realize that when you're growing, you have to realize that is the only way that you can do life. You can only do life by doing something much better than yesterday. And no matter what happens, guys, just realize that when people are around you, you will realize that you get distracted. Although when you get distracted, you realize that you can pause the video and you can do it somewhere else, and you also must do it somewhere else. Otherwise, you understand that what happens is you get distracted, and that is never the way either. I just had to resume the video over here. So no matter what, guys, just realize that when you have a nice space in a toilet somewhere in a hostel, where maybe somebody may never ever even come in, you understand no matter what, that when they do come in, you can pause the video, and that way you can really continue your video, and you can realize no matter what, that you just go and be yourself in front of camera and go and do something that's really amazing. You'll understand that no matter what, as I travel the world, I have to do these videos around people, and I never go around people anymore, because I was just around people and they just walk by and they're really disturbing in terms of life. And it's never really that they disturb me, although they're disturbing the video, and I need the video to be quality, and I don't care about them talking. Although you understand that when I'm talking on video and when I'm giving value, I need to be shown by just having myself in the video, and never people pointing in the background about what I'm doing. Understand? Because you need to be a person who's far greater in life. So in order for yourself to be far greater, you need to go and give value at any time of the day. I mean, right now it's 12 noon. I mean, for me, the moment right now is this moment, although it's nighttime and it's around 1 a.m. in the morning. You understand that no matter what, I'm still doing these videos, and before I go to sleep, I'll have something more in the world that I gave value, because that is the whole point of having a successful life. I mean, be a successful person and make sure that you keep consistent throughout your life. You have to understand that consistency has everything to do with discipline, and those people who are disciplined are going to be able to far outweigh the world in success. So be a person who can really delve into yourself, and be a person who loves spirituality and the inner world, because the inner world has far more to do with giving value than the outer world. And the outer world is, for example, the outside world in terms of life, and you never need that. You need to be inside. I mean, I'm better than what I say. You'll understand no matter what, the outside world is something that's never going to help you, and it's people that you never rely on. I mean, go inside. I mean, inside is where the golden nuggets are. I mean, those people who are going inside and really living life to make sure that no matter what happens, that they are people who love life and who are really interested in themselves, are the ones who are giving value. And be that type of person. You need to be a person who's really, let's say, foundational in what you're doing, so that you can realize that there is a better way for you to really give value, and it's really through reading and through doing more and through being more. You need to be a better person. You need to realize that attitude is everything, and that attitude is also gratitude, and gratitude has to do with growth. So those people who are connecting the dots are always going to be able to give more value, because they have more vocabulary and they have more smarts, and they're around better people, and they're always looking inside rather than outside. And now inside is where you look when you're only looking to solve problems, because nobody out there is going to help you and nobody out there is going to chase you. So you have to understand that no matter what, you just never rely on people to chase you, and you never rely on any other person in life except for yourself. And you have to understand that in your life you must follow something greater. So follow something in terms of Jesus Christ, because Jesus also has the habits that you need. So go and see what Jesus' habits are and really study upon the Bible. You understand that if you're closed-minded about that, it means you're going to be unsuccessful about the Bible. So no matter what, be an interesting person and be interested in every single area of your life. Be a person who has the attitude and also is a person who never cares about the outside world, because you care to give more to yourself for something greater. And that way, when you're a person who loves yourself more than everybody else, you'll start to look good and you'll start to feel good, and you'll start to do more value giving. And now value giving is everything about freedom, and the more free work you do and the more you prosper and succeed, you'll be able to really live life exponentially. You'll be able to live life exponentially. You'll be able to really satisfy yourself to grow, and that is the whole point of life. I mean, it's never to make the money. I mean, it's never to work 8 hours a day in a 9-to-5 job. You understand that those people who work in a 9-to-5 job will never ever be satisfied. I need you to understand, I just need to pause this video so I can do my portable charger. You guys need to understand that no matter what happens, be a person of freedom and be a person who can really foundationally talk while you're doing something. I promise you, those people who have a mindset are the people who worked on it, and you have to realize that no matter what happens, get yourself traveling and get yourself a real role model in life. You have to understand that the role model in your life must be you, who is your greater version. So do anything in your life today that's going to help you to give more value. So you have your journal and you start writing in your journal more and more about your story, and that's already value. And I promise you, it's really easy to talk about your life. So you do that all your life and you make that your passion, because that's how you give value. You understand that no matter what, you just be that type of person, and make sure that you're moving on through conversation and use your mindset in order for yourself to succeed. I mean, be a person of integrity and be a person who's really living your talk. I mean, here I am at a hostel and it's 12:10 in the morning, and you understand that no matter what, that I'm still living life and I'm still doing this video even though I live in a hostel at the moment. And why am I doing this video? Because I'm giving you free love, and free love has everything to do with free knowledge about life, and I'm life coaching you right now in order for you to succeed, because I'm doing it for something greater. You have to understand that those people who are really foundational in what they're saying are using their mindset. So in order for yourself to build your mindset into a better person, you need to read and you need to do something daily in order for yourself to really get ahead. So what are some things that I do in my daily life to get ahead and give value? I do life coaching videos. I do 3 hours a day at most. No matter what, I make sure to always be doing the 3-hour mark, and I make sure that that is my goal for every day. And every time I never achieve it, I realize I have to help myself to do that. And no matter what, I make sure no matter what to always level myself up in some type of way through reading, and to read most of the day, and also to listen to music and do a bit of music production here and there, so that I can realize that I can do it long term and that I can do it better. You understand that no matter what happens, guys, that you be a person who never gets distracted by other people, and continue your video when somebody is distracting you. So what do you do in that moment? You pause the video and you let the people pass by, and that way you re-pause the video in terms of you start playing it again, and that way you will continue from where you began. And that way you can keep your momentum going. And throughout the day, you may be able to do 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5-minute videos, and then combine them together, and you can make a 1-hour motivational video such as I, and you understand that works also. And that way you never have excuses to never do a video, because you can always do a 3-minute or a 2-minute or a 5-minute video around closed doors, such as I am in the toilet right now. And you would understand that you can always come to the toilet and do 5-minute videos and then go. And then you can always do that, and make sure that you can do that every single time, and also continue your motivational videos without people around. And that way you understand that you can keep going with your motivational videos, you can also realize that you never ever just be a person who is standing still, because standing still never gets you anywhere, and standing still is a comfort zone. I experienced today a nice beautiful gesture because I seen people in a hostel and they're all together like the jungle people, in terms of they live in the village and they have the music playing and they're doing nothing. You understand? And I was in my room and I was just on my own because I use up the space. So I have space in my room, and I realized that's the best method because I don't need people around me. And when I have space and peace, I go towards that, and I go where I can be alone. So because of that, I got to sit down, I got to relax, I got to watch Lewis Howes in his podcast, and I also was reading upon Eckhart Tolle, and I was doing some meditation with him. I was also doing some Grant Cardone in terms of what he posted, and you understand that no matter what, I'm just a person who is always doing my mentors every single day. I make sure that I elaborate more about this. I make sure no matter what that I always subscribe to my mentors, and that when they post a video, it shows up in my Samsung Galaxy phones. I have 2 phones, and why do I have 2 phones? Because sometimes one of my phones may die, and for any reason I can go on the internet on the other phone and continue to market online, and I can continue to write in my journal, because you understand that those people who can write now in their journal are the ones who are going to see, other ones who are going to succeed, are the ones who are going to succeed long term. I realized that in music they have the word gonna, and I realized that gonna is never really a word. You understand that no matter what, you need to be a person who's far greater than words, so make sure that you're always bettering your words. You understand? Because no matter what, be a person who's far into yourself than others, and that way you can move forward and you can keep giving value. So no matter what I see, when I get distracted, I make sure I move on quickly, because that's the whole point of life. And make sure you're moving along quickly, and make sure you're using your mindset in order to achieve 3-hour days of videos, because that's the only way you can. You understand? You can do it when you're putting your mindset into it. You have to realize that your mindset has to be fed with nutrition. I use soy milk over here. I have soy milk. Unsweetened soy milk, and I drink no sweetened sugar. So the only sauce that I'll ever eat in my life is either soy sauce when I go takeaway with rice, or I can eat chili sauce. And when I pick chili sauce, I pick anything that has the lowest amount of sugar, because you understand that sauces like chili and sweet chili, and also mayonnaise and mustard and barbecue and tomato sauce are sauces that have a lot of sugar and a lot of fat. So I pick the ones such as hot chili, and the hot chili ones can have also high amounts of sugar. So go for the one that has the least amount of sugar, and that one's going to be the best potential. Although go for something that's mild in terms of chili, or whatever your taste buds are, just make sure that the sugar amount is low, because you understand that in sugar, inside sauces they put sweetened sugar, and it means they're putting white teaspoons of sugar. You understand? So white teaspoons of sugar is artificial flavors, and it's also artificial colors, you understand? And that's what causes disease. So make sure no matter what, when you're picking a sauce, that you only ever eat that sauce once a week. So I may get a chili sauce every single week, and I may use that throughout the week. I use a 250ml chili bottle, and I may eat 4 times with tofu that sauce. And I may do that once a week because it's only 8 grams of sugar. In a total fashion of 250 grams, it is 8, and 4. So that is 20 grams of sugar throughout the week just for the sauce. And I can afford to eat that much sugar, because you understand that I only eat that much sugar anyway a week. Because people who have high amounts of sugar are going to be diabetic when they hit long term. You understand that now is your time to really study upon nutrition and be a better person, and really, let's say, market yourself much more, and make sure you're developing yourself much more, and be a person who's really into nutrition. You have to understand that those people who can talk can also lead, and you need to be that type of person. And the only way you can do that is to do your story. So be a person who can do your story, be a person who can inspire people in some type of way. When you look at my Instagram, I hope that you're inspired, because I have 5,000 photos of myself. You understand? So be a person who can understand that no matter what happens, you're always talking yourself up, and you live up to your talk. You understand? Because that's the way to go. You need to be a person who's never dwelling on other people and never dwell for a woman or a man, because I used to be that type of person where I just said, why does that guy have a woman? I mean, it's a question, although I was very depressed about it. I mean, I was jealous. I was jealous because I was suffering, I was empty, and I never had a woman such as that go for me. I was lacking, and I was comparing about how that guy has more sex with women and how all this. And no matter what, you understand that no matter what, that it's really that the woman chase him, and you understand that sometimes the man may give some money for that, and you understand that most people who are going around having sex are giving money for it mostly, because 99% of the women, I promise you, are really going for the men that are unsuccessful. So you understand that be the person who is the 1% of the men, and you have the 1% of the women in the world who are chasing you. So you realize no matter what that you must go that way. You must be the man who has the woman chasing you and never chase the woman and never give them money to have sex with them, because you understand that they'll grab your money and go. I mean, they just care about your money. I mean, once you go to an Asian woman, or once you go to a woman, they say one time come and that's it, you understand? So be a person who really is never that type of person who has to go to a brothel or anything, because you understand the long term, you need to get married, and some of you may never need to get married, so no matter what, you guys have no issues. You have to understand that in life I have no issues either, and in marriage there is no issues. Be a person who can brush it off. I mean, when life hits you hard, what do? You make sure you grow. You make sure that you hit back smarter. You understand? So when a woman hits you, make sure that you never do what I did. I smacked her in the face. I mean, I never smacked her in the face. I hit her in the gut because I lost control. And make sure you're never that. Make sure that you're never that type of person who loses control, because I never deserved it. And you understand no matter what that I was put in jail for that, because I was hit first, and you understand that I was a victim. I'm not a victim anymore, although just never be that person who has to hit back a woman or a man. And make sure that you women out there never hit a woman or a man first. You understand? Because it's never about violence. And that's why now I have a nice beautiful 6 p.m. rule, and it states that I will never ever go outside into the night after 6 p.m. because after 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. I'm indoors. I'm inside accommodation. I'm doing videos. I'm doing something related to my business. And this time is just my time with God. And I realize that I'm much more important than those people outside of me, and I'm really much more important than the nightclubs and all of that, because I have a better future. I have a better moment. I'm much more smarter. I'm more developed. I'm more talented. And I realize that those people who go nightclubbing and all that, they're bullshit people, and the people who are toxic and they dislike everyone. And I never need that. I love everyone, although I grow myself the most. You understand that. And I make sure no matter what, I'm just around better people. You have to understand that you never be around people who are toxic, because they're gonna eat your life. You understand? I mean, they're gonna tell you everything about how come you cannot make it. I mean, you can make it. You understand? It's just that they cannot make it, and they make you, they try to make you say yourself that you can never make it, because guess what? They're trying to convince you of their beliefs and why you must never make it, because they cannot make it. In a sense, so make sure that you can be the one who makes it, because I can, and you understand that those people who can make it believe in themselves. And how do they believe in themselves? Well, typically, I believe in myself the most because I journal, and everybody's different. Although I see many successful people, although nobody is really more successful than me except Jesus. And why is that? Because I have the ultimate advantage, and I have my journal. And my journal really states my daily life and how I can go about life. And really, I maneuver through life easily with my journal because I write everything down, and I'm way smarter than the crowd. I'm way smarter than the crowd, and no matter what, you may be a person who's laughing at that right now, although in the next 73 years I will outlive you. I will outlive you by 30 years and more. You understand? So no matter what, you may be laughing, I understand, and no matter what, just be a person who's never egotistical. I'm never never the ego. So I was just the ego then, and I realized that no matter what, you just be a person who's really dedicated towards yourself, and never be doing those slang words such as The Rock does in terms of the WWE, because that is all egotistical and you never need that. So make sure that you move on and make sure that you just never repeat that in your life, because that way you're going to be a person who's really far greater than everybody else. And I hope that you're greater than me. I hope that you can do much better in terms of habits. I challenge you to do better than me in habits, because no matter what, I have already done what I have and I'm here to move on. And as Oprah Winfrey says, she says, you have the first goal, overtake that first goal and then get the next goal and overtake it. And just keep taking those steps. So I do that on a daily basis. I make sure no matter what, I overcame cigarettes. I overcame weight loss. I lost 47 kilos. I became vegan. I got off the schizophrenic medication after 5 years of taking it. I overcame schizophrenia. I never have to go to mental health institutes anymore. I got away from the crowd. I started traveling for 1 year, Australia. I'm traveling now for 1 year and 2 weeks. I also made 220 hours of video. I made 23,000 quotes. I made 2 years of journaling. Those are all accomplishments I made. You understand that those people who can do it are the people who are independent and interdependent. Anybody can do it. Even the dependent people can start somewhere, because you can never be independent without dependency. So you started off dependent. You started off relying on your father and mother to give you money. And I was a person who was always relying on my dad for money. And when I was with my dad, in terms of my biological dad, I was with him and I was always expecting 20 bucks a day. 20 bucks a day will never get you a wife. I promise you will never get you kids. And you understand that I was never working either. And I would be getting money from the government. And guess what? You understand that no matter what changed, I left my biological dad and I moved out. I grabbed all my stuff because my biological dad never wanted to chuck out the couch. And I chose that day because he really, really put it in me that it's his house and that he's the boss and that I will never ever be able to convince him of anything. And he treated me like shit. So no matter what, I just left. And it's the best decision of my life, because I was sleeping on that couch for 13 years and my back was crazy in terms of my back was hurting because of the couch, and I had to throw the couch away. And my biological dad, every time I do something to improve my life, he just fucking kicks me down, or he may say, fuck off, you're gonna leave that there because that's mine. I realized no matter what, that I was never trying to take control of him. I was trying to better my life. And I just left because I never need the drama. And I took all my stuff from my room. I grabbed all my stuff, I put it in the car. My biological dad was outside in the garden and he was watching me, and he never knew what was happening until I waved goodbye. And while I was in the car waving goodbye, I promise you that's the moment he realized that I was putting everything in the car. I promise you he was outside the whole time watching me. I promise you he never knew. And that's the kind of biological dad I have, because he's just unaware of everything. And you understand that no matter what, now I never expect him to call me. I never expect anybody to message me, because nobody does except I, in terms of life. And I only rely on myself now. And no matter what, I rely on something bigger than me, because when I look at something bigger than me, I follow it. And that way I can rely on something bigger, because I follow the rules of Jesus Christ. You understand? So no matter what, I follow the 10 Commandments, and those are my only rules that I follow. I don't care about the justice system rules. I don't care about what's happening around the world and their systems. I only care about the God systems. You understand? I follow the universal laws, which say that if you jump in front of a car and you get hit, you can die. You understand? So I follow those kind of rules. I follow common sense rules, and you have to understand that you can break the rules. You can break people's rules. You have to understand that when they say you cannot cross this line, you go across the line, because who's stopping you? When they say you cannot take photos inside a Photoshop or inside a store, you're going to take photos anyway. You understand? Because who is to say that it's their private property and whatever? They gave money for it. It's still not your ground. You understand? It's still not your ground. They're renting it. You understand? They're renting it. To who? To who are they renting it? I mean, nobody owns the world. You understand? So go and take photos all you like and post them online. You understand? No matter what, I did that, and guess what? The security guard started to kick me and started to bash me and almost broke my arm. You understand? So no matter what, guess what? I never need that in my life. Although you understand that people are rude and people are violent, and as soon as you're doing something and you're happy, I promise you they come into your face and they try to stop you doing that. And if you don't, they'll call the police. And then when the police comes, they'll say you filed assault on this person because you took a photo. And I promise you they start to really rebel on you. And what do you do in that moment? You say sorry, and you say I apologize and I'll never do it again. And then guess what you do? You just go do it again. You understand? Because it's a free country. You understand? It's a free country, so you never need to be kicked, and you never need to be a person who's violent either. I make sure no matter what that you guys have the best knowledge in this video. So be a person who can really be foundational in giving value and give out your story bit by bit. I mean, level by level, anything is a middle. You understand, no matter what, you be a person who is more like Brian Tracy when he says, the more discipline you have, the greater measure of success you have. So be a person who has greater measures of success and realize that you just forget the outside world and what they're doing. I promise you, I've been traveling now 36 times around Australia in terms of hostels. I mean, I've been traveling to 250 places of Australia now in 1 year and 2 weeks of traveling around Australia, and I've traveled to 36 hostels. And within that time, I started to really develop. And before I even went to hostels, I was saying, I can imagine all the women at the hostels. I would be chasing them, I would be doing everything with them, I would be going with them everywhere in terms of nightclubs. I was that type of guy when I was around 24. And guess what? I was very fat, I was very ugly at 24, and I was a person who was reading. I was a person who was still developing. I'm still developing now, I'm still reading. I also realized that no matter what, that you always speak in this moment terms and just explain your story much more. You realize no matter what, that now at 27, I realized that after 1 year and 2 months of traveling, after 1 year and 2 weeks of traveling, I realized that as soon as I got to the hostel, I realized that it was never really about the woman anymore. I realized that now it's more about, I have to succeed, I have to keep going, I have to make sure that I have to keep traveling around Australia. How did I do it? I kept a journal. I make sure no matter what that I'm always putting and inputting my finances, and every time I give $1, I put it into my phone about where did that dollar go. And over time, I have now 2 years of statistics about where my time and money is going and my energy. And I realized that I now educate myself more and more. And as I traveled 1 year and 2 months around Australia, I had mentors going and playing around my mind in terms of my life. And you understand that they are always giving me podcasts every day, and I stay tuned and I make sure I follow them because I'm a student. And now those people who never need to be a student, I promise you those people will never live life. I promise you they will never be successful. You have to understand you need to be a student of somebody, and you need to learn about what's going on around the world, although it's really much more about what's going inward. And sometimes your mentors, and really your mentors in terms of my mentors, and somebody who's really successful is going to teach you what's going on in terms of economic values around the world, and also the news trends and how they go about it. And then you just pick up their thoughts and attitudes on it. And that way you're going to become a better person, and you never need to watch the news trends and Twitter trends and what's going on in the news and the radio, because your mentors will talk about it. And that way you're picking up what's going on around the world through them. And that way you're receiving positive education. And I've been doing that for 1 year, 2 months now. And I've been doing it on YouTube this time, because before I was doing it through audiobooks. And then I met Brian Tracy, and he says, you must go on YouTube and follow your mentors and subscribe and be updated every single day about what they're posting. And then now I just catch up. So now I realize that I'm on top of my mentors every single day. I mean, I may get 6 videos, 7 videos a day. I may get 7 videos a day. And that way, when I get all these videos, I make sure to go and read all of them. And I read them at twice the speed. And through my audiobooks, I make sure to keep reading all day long. I read about 10 hours a day at 3.5 times. And that's about 35 hours of reading every single day. I promise you, although I can't have the time to do that, and I make sure no matter what throughout my day that I'm branding myself and that I read 10 hours a day.
I also listen to music. I do a bit of music production every day. I market and I advertise my post, and I make sure to engage people online and to write all day long in my journal and upload quotes and all my information online. And I just do that for now. I also make sure to grow. I make sure to plan ahead in my journal about where will I go. And you have to understand, I stay tuned with my mentors also, and I eat food and drink, and I go to the Woolworths here in Australia, which is a food supermarket. I also make sure to brand myself in terms of what clothing will I get, and I plan it, and I make sure I do it. I make sure no matter what that I get myself into my motivational videos again, because it makes sense. And no matter what, you guys have to realize that throughout my travels, my biggest highlights are seeing the places while I'm growing, because without growing, guys, you'll never really add much value. You'll never have the life expectancy you need when you're dying. So be a person who's far developing and more so than your peers, because you need to succeed more and you need to look greater. You need to look greater. I grew a beard so I can look more I grew a beard so I can look more like a man, because without a beard I look like a baby face, and that never goes for me. So no matter what, I love to have a beard anyway. I'm a man, and that way you look like a man too when you have a beard. You understand, no matter what, that woman will never understand the beard and how to do it. You understand? So make sure that you're a person who just realizes that when you have a beard and you see baby faces, I promise you they're jealous. You understand? I promise you, because you grew a beard and they never did. You understand? So once you grow a beard, you never go back. You understand? You never go back, because you just keep the beard all day long and all year long and all your life, because it's worth it. You understand that as soon as you have no beard, you look like a baby. I mean, you must feel like a baby every single day. I feel like more like myself every single day because I grow. You have to understand, I know myself more every single day, and you have to know yourself, guys. So know yourself more means go and learn and study through wisdom, and go find yourself something to do. I mean, that something is go and write your story. I mean, go write your story in a journal and write all day long. I mean, just push and push and push. I had to read the first year about an hour to 2 hours a day, because you'll understand that at first it's going to be tough to read. I mean, it's going to be tough to get all this information, and 20 minutes may sound like a big lifetime of reading audiobooks. Although, guess what? The more you read, I promise you, the more you're going to be able to read. So I can now read 10 hours a day at 3.5 times. I promise you that when you start reading audiobooks, you may read at the average speed, which is this speed. I mean, I read 3.5 times faster than this speed. You understand? So when I read, it's really mumbling. You can hear, although I really hear it. I hear the words. So I have Osho at the moment. I listen to Osho, and I'm reading the book The Secret of Secrets. And I love the book because it talks about spirituality and how to go inside and to help yourself. And no matter what, it's a 53-hour book. I finished it in a day and a half. And Osho has 2 books, which is 100 hours long. And no matter what, that's my next book, which is another book of 49 hours. And I realized that it's amazing to do. And it's amazing to be able to realize that I have more in terms of audio tapes and videos than Osho does over the long term. So it just feels good to, no matter what, to realize that Osho is my teacher, although I'm also better than yesterday. And I just feel good to have 220 hours of videos that I've done already. I mean, Osho is somebody that can really teach you guys. So go and make sure that you go and promote yourself and really study upon Osho and his spiritual techniques, because that way you will become more. And spirituality is something to do with greatness and the common good of life, and also common sense, and something that really can never be explained. So be a person who really is adding value in some type of way, because if you're not adding value, guys, there is one way that is going to happen in terms of life, and you're going to go down, and people are going to stomp on you, and they're going to treat you like crap, because you treat yourself like crap and you treat everybody else like crap when you're never growing. So be a person who's adding value. And how do you add value? You have to understand, to add value, you need to read more and you need to contribute more. You need to realize that it's about being a better person and improving your attitude, and being a person who is never a person who is a pervert or is never a person who is ugly, so never hang around with ugly people and never hang around with people who watch pornography, and also never be around people who masturbate. I mean, you have to understand that you can be a person who is far better than that, and be a person who listens to Napoleon Hill when he says that you must never masturbate because in the long run you'll live a longer life. You understand? So in terms of life, you have to understand that pleasure seeking is everything to do with porn and masturbation. So as soon as you delay gratification, you will be more successful, and that's what I say. You understand? So be a person who goes long term without porn and masturbation, and be a person who can really satisfy yourself in growth, and be much more than the temptation to watch porn and masturbate, and also to drink alcohol and do drugs. I mean, I'm a person who's sober, I'm a person who lives my talk, I'm a person who is far greater than yesterday. And how do I do it? I make sure I plan it on video, I make sure I give myself every single time in the video, I make sure I do these videos, and I do it easily now, and I use my mindset now, I use my feelings, I use everything in my being to make sure that I can give you the best value in the planet. And it's really about standing in front of the camera so you can contribute something, and so you can show your face, and so that you can realize that it's more about communication than anything in the world. So those people who are really communicating more are going to be more, are going to be more leader-like than those people who have no journals and of such. You have to understand that journaling is going to help you communicate, so make sure you get your journal straight away, and be a person who has more time in life. So more time is more gratitude, and it's more wealth, and you have to understand you're automatically richer than those who have to work. You're automatically richer than those who have to work 40 hours a week when you're a person who never has to work a 9-to-5 job. So get yourself away from a 9-to-5 job. Go on the government allowance, and make sure that no matter what, you start writing in your journal and do it throughout your life. You understand? Because that way you have to do something. So go and find something to do while you're never working a 9-to-5 job, because a 9-to-5 job will never help you. I promise you, no matter what, it's only going to take your time, and your time is more valuable than what they're giving at the 9-to-5 job. I promise you that the 9-to-5 job is never the solution, and you may be a person who believes that you need money at the moment and you need to work a 9-to-5 job. I promise you never need to work a 9-to-5 job to make money. You understand? Because you need a side business, you need something of this nature in terms of what I'm doing at the moment, and you need to be able to brand yourself, you need to be able to give free knowledge, you need to be able to realize that is the way. You understand? So realize that over the long term, you need to be able to support yourself. So if you have no way of supporting yourself, and you believe that you'll be on the street if you don't have a 9-to-5 job, I promise you, then make sure that you're working a 9-to-5 job. You understand? So no matter what, that you understand, you must have a 9-to-5 job when you're a person who may be on the street. So just be aware of that. You must be able to realize that those people who never need a 9-to-5 job, such as I realized that I never need a 9-to-5 job because I have habits that support me to never work a 9-to-5 job. I never got myself into it. I made $3,000 in a 9-to-5 job all my career in terms of 28 years of living in this world. You understand that I've only made $3,000 in a 9-to-5 job. You understand? So the 9-to-5 job is never for me. I realized that I've been the biggest failure in that genre. You understand, no matter what, that I also stay away from mortgages, I stay away from cars, I stay away from loans and getting loans, I stay away from borrowing money, I stay away from meat in terms of food, I stay away from soft drinks, I stay away from all the franchises out there in terms of food, I stay away from restaurants. Why? I have more money. I have more money and I get wealthier because I'm more disciplined like that. I never have to drive myself with a vehicle. I get other people to drive me. I grab an Uber. I give $7.50. I get a lift 3 kilometers somewhere. I never care, because guess what? The Uber comes up to you whenever you need it. So be a person who is always having somebody else drive you. So be a person of that nature, and you have to realize that those people who need to go to a 9-to-5 job, just be a person who's reading every day, and be a person who's taking it slow, although you have to read faster. You need to be a person who's reading faster. And if you're a person who's reading deep shit at the moment, you have to realize that you need to admit to yourself, you understand, and grow. You have to grow and realize that you need to be a person of far more quality than what you are today in order for yourself to make more money. So how do you really make more money? You really go inward. I mean, there's no such thing as making more money. Do you understand? I need you to understand that there is no such thing as money in this world except for wisdom. I need you to understand it's never about your 9 to 5 job. And what your 9 to 5 job is just for you to grow and to develop. So make sure you're looking at 9 to 5 job as a way for you to develop as a person. I promise you, you're never working for the money. You understand? Because the money is never worth it. I promise you, the money is never worth it. You never work for the money. You either work for the experience or the wisdom. I promise you, wisdom alone is the real experience. So be a person who's self-evaluating every single day of your 9 to 5 job. I promise you that the experience is also never going to get you further because self-evaluated experience is. So what does that mean? As John C. Maxwell, I promise you, as John C. Maxwell taught me, I understand that no matter what, I still have to put my I and you in place. And it really means that in each sentence, I have to start with my I and you. So you understand, in this sentence, I started with so, and that way I can realize no matter what, I can always better myself. You have to understand that self-evaluation means that when you finish off your day, you write about it. You write about how did your day go and what can you do better. And that means more wisdom. So do that kind of work all your life. And you have to realize that the only way that you can really get out of a 9 to 5 job today is make sure you're writing more about your day and how can you solve more problems. So the more quotes you can do and the more writing you can do about your story and solve problems in your workplace and in the world in terms of problems, I promise you, you have to do this alone and you have to grow and you have to do it on video, and you can use my examples in terms of my videos and you can use my ideas too. You have to understand that you need to go and teach all those ideas too. So you have to get yourself on camera, you have to get yourself in the podcast, you have to start doing something long term. So at the moment I have a course 175 or something in this video. I have another 60 courses in my motivational videos, and I've been really going slow at this for 3 years now. I mean, constantly I've been failing and going forward. I've been failing and going forward. I mean, I never really failed, I only improved. I mean, it's taken me 3 years to do 175 courses in terms of how-to videos. You have to understand that in between that time, I've been traveling 1 year and 2 months. I've been a person who's really educating myself. You have to understand, I've read over 2,500 hours. I've read over that long. So when you consider every day you read 1 hour a day, I promise you that you have 365 days in a year. I mean, times that by 7 years. I've been reading for 7 years per 1 hour a day, and I've really been reading now much more than that. You have to understand, for every 10 days I used to read at 22, I read it in 1 day now. In a sense, so I read really quick. I read 10x now based on how I used to read at 22. You have to realize that at 22, I was going downhill. You understand? I only became uphill at 26. 25 and 7 months. And what changed? I became sober. So most people are really going the way of drugs and society. You never need to be that person. You need to be a person who's far more than anything in the world. I suggest that you realize that you just better yourself and your mentality, and make sure no matter what, you're a person who's really studying upon philosophy. Study upon Jim Rohn and also Zig Ziglar and Dr. Wayne Dyer, and go read their books. Go read the books and also study with me, and you need to study and study and study and study for the next 5 years in order to get anywhere. I promise you that you need to study all your life. And it's a slow journey. I promise you that growth is the slowest journey, although it's the best one. I promise you, although those people who grow are going to make a far better life. I promise you, when you see my photos in terms of inside my Instagram, you'll find out that, hey, I had to start somewhere. You understand? I started first doing 1 photo per day. I was doing 1 photo per day, and then I was doing 3 photos per day. I was doing 3 posts a day with 1 photo each. I then started doing photos. I did 46 posts. I deleted all the photos. I started over. I started my Instagram and my social media accounts. I started them a number of times. I started them over 70 times. Again, I started Facebook pages over 10 times. I started Facebook groups over 10 times. I started new Snapchat accounts over 5 times. I started my Facebook account. I only had one, but I only have one Facebook account all my life. So thank God. And you have to understand, no matter what, I've been changing my emails though. And what worked? You have to understand that at the moment, it's really that I just go for one Instagram in terms of social media, and it really works for me to be able to never diversify in terms of social media and expansion, because I have 300 million followers in Instagram and a reach of 300 million people. And I realize no matter what, that when you have 300 million people following you, I realize that it's more than enough. I mean, you'll understand that is probably the best you can do online at the moment. Understand? I mean, nobody in life has 300 million followers except for Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Instagram. You guys have to understand that in order to get 300 million followers, you have to be on Instagram. So I made myself go all in on Instagram. So why Instagram? Because guess what? It's much better to have one Instagram in terms of social media. I promise you, it's much better to have one social media in life than having 10. Because nobody cares to go on your LinkedIn profile and then your Snapchat and then your Facebook and your TikTok. I mean, nobody's going to follow you on all those social medias. You have to understand. You have to understand that people will follow you on one. I promise you, when they say, and when you say you have only this place where they can find you, I promise you they will have the easiest time finding you. I promise you then they're going to find everything about you. I promise you, when you go all in and you put your journals and your quotes and your videos and your writing and all of your photos and videos and everything about your life in one, and you realize that is all you need, I promise you that anyway, in Instagram you have analytics, and you have also followers, and you have a graph that tells you this many people and this many women and this many percentages of people between these ages and these countries, and these percentages of these countries are following you more, and these people are engaging you over this time in terms of weekly and monthly and yearly. And every single day you can understand that Google Analytics is inside Instagram. So you understand that you have a free analytics page and statistics page of how many people are coming into your page and how many people are clicking your website and how many people are viewing you on a daily basis and how many people have viewed every single photo inside of your Instagram. So you may be a person who's posting photos and videos. I'm posting only photos of myself, and inside my highlights I'm a person who has only quotes. I mean, I have a one-step Instagram. You need to understand that my Instagram, when you come in there, I post only photos of myself inside my story, inside Instagram, and inside my news feed in terms of my Instagram feed, which is my news feed. So you understand that I post images of myself, and that's positive. You understand? I promise you, when you post 5,000 images of yourself that you look excellent in, and you're better than yesterday, I promise you that people will be inspired, and it's positive. You understand? So when you're a person who realizes that I have quotes inside my highlights, so you upload it first. I mean, you upload 2,000 quotes, and then you never have to worry about it again. I promise you, then you make Instagram one step. You have to understand, guys, so no matter what, when other people are trying to distract you, you just pause your video, because there may be someone who's trying to distract you, so you pause your video and you continue. You have to understand, guys, that no matter what, be a person who's never, let's say, distracted by the outside world, and go somewhere where people can never distract you. And that's the best way to continue life, although you can pause your videos and continue. You have to understand that in Instagram, you have a lot of, let's say, statistics about men and women and gender, and between the ages of what, and how many impressions and how many people you reached in your advertisements, and how much engagement you got in a week or in a month or in a year or over a decade. And you understand, you have all these graphs about Monday to Sunday and who is visiting you the most in those days and how many people are visiting you in each day and at what times. You have to understand that is amazing. So it's a beautiful landing page for your website. And then what is your website? You put in your bio link and you make your website your own online storage. Because guess what? When you're making all these videos, you're making all of these lecturing tutorials and images of yourself, I mean, you may have 100,000 videos and you may have 100,000 photos and 100,000 journals throughout your life. So where are you going to put all this? I mean, when you put it inside a website, I promise you that you'll be giving at least $50 or more a month in order for yourself to hold all these educational videos and to give them out for free, and also to show the world your images in terms of your baby photos and how you grew up and what content you gave out in terms of quotes and videos and journaling. I mean, I give $13 a month, and you have to understand I get 2 terabytes, and once I complete 2 terabytes I can go up to 8 terabytes and give $30. And you have to understand that no matter what, that 8 terabytes of information is a lot. I mean 8 terabytes can last me for the next 20 years. You understand, no matter what, I'll still be giving $30 a month, although it's worth it. I mean, you're everything in one chip, and you understand that when you're clicking in terms of in your online storage, you have all your content there. So imagine a website. You have to go and download all the videos and everything off that website, and you have to realize that when you never give money in terms of monthly scheduling for that website, you have to understand they take your website down and all your videos and all your images and everything about you in terms of life, because you have to keep it running. I mean, you're giving people money. Although with Mega Drive, which is my online storage, as soon as I never give money, I promise you they just stop it, and I can never upload any more online in terms of my memory and in terms of storage, because every time I give money, I can continue the process. Although you have to understand that my content stays up there, and I can just leave it for the rest of my life and it will just be there. Understand? And that's the difference between that's the difference between an online storage and a website. So realize that, I need you to be a person who's realizing that there is a better way when you can do it for free. I mean, make sure that you're always going the free way, although you understand that you need a website eventually, and to go and post your photos and videos and content up online so that you can do something amazing for yourself. You have to realize that I just recently had a guy over here, and he comes over here and he says, what have you been doing, man? I've been doing over here, I've been doing my business. I realize he goes, where are you from? I'm from Sydney. I see him saying, what business do you have? I say, oh, you can go and check my Instagram. I see he just left because he doesn't even know what I said, and he's not even interested to check out my Instagram. I promise you that he never even asked for my Instagram. I said, you can check out my Instagram. I promise you that he asked me about my business, although he was never interested. You have to understand how funny that is. You have to understand the guy is drunk, and you understand that those people, you just move on and you figure it out much better, because you understand that you have a good time, and you really be quick and more than quick enough to realize that when you're giving a story and you're entertaining people, make sure that you're growing from it. I mean, you have to understand that those people who are really into people who are toxic, you have to understand that they are never really going to help you. You have to understand those people who are mumbling and doing all of this, you have to understand that they are egotistical. I'm never egotistical. I'm never on the ego side. I'm never where the egos are. I mean, ego is always going to clash with ego, so never be a person of that nature, and be a person who does say what happened in your life, although be a positive person, and make sure you're speaking more positivity than make sure that you're speaking more positivity than negativity in life. I mean, when you're talking negative about somebody, I mean, go and speak about what's positive about them also, and that way you never said anything, let's say, crucial. In a sense, so when you're a person who's only speaking bad about somebody, I mean, you're also speaking bad about yourself. I mean, you can speak about the good and bad of everybody, you understand? Although, be a person who really is for the better side. I mean, speak more positive. I mean, speak more positivity about people, and that way you can add value. I promise you that you follow Zig Ziglar's rule and what he says about that positivity will get you further than negativity ever will. You understand that no matter what, you'll be a person who's far up in the heavens of life, because that way you will live in the moment. You understand that the moment is to be lived, and you need to take action. You need to take action more and more. You need to realize that you maneuver through life easily and you do it effortlessly. You have to understand, be a person who's more than smart enough. Grow yourself and be more than smart than to chase people. Never chase people, and go up to people in terms of who's valuable and speak to them and ask them questions. You have to understand, when you ask a question, I promise you it's a beautiful question. Although, no matter what, that there are many stupid questions out there, and make sure you're asking the better ones. You have to understand that when you're a person who is really, let's say, egotistical, you're going to be a person who's toxic and also hanging around with those people, and also more tuned into the outside world. Although you never do that. You never be a person who's tuned in the outside world. You switch off the outside world, you switch off the TV, as Brian Tracy says, and I did that. And I'm still doing it. I realized no matter what, I only tuned into self-education programs with my entrepreneurs and my mentors. You have to understand, you have to get yourself around billion-dollar mentors and million-dollar ones, who are people who are going to succeed long-term, because long-term is the way to go. You have to understand that those people who never delay in gratification, other people who are always seeking out pornography and masturbation, and they're the people who are letting themselves down in the world. You have to understand, go and be a person who's far greater than everybody else, and that way you can speed up everything in your life. You give more value, you will get more value. You understand? You give more to get more. What you sow is what you reap. So make sure no matter what, you're giving more abundance in the world, and that way you will create more abundance in your life. I promise you that Zig Ziglar said, if you give he said, when you give everybody what they want, you will get what you want. So no matter what, make sure that you give other people success and you make them successful. You'll make yourself successful in the process. You go and make everybody successful. You make 100 people successful. I promise you, those 100 people will promote you for life, and you'll be more of a successful person because you led 100 people. So be that type of person. Be that person who can read more and study more. I challenge you to read 10 hours a day at 3.5 times and just keep it going. Understand? Because you'll understand that is the way to go. You may have no time to do that, so make some time. You understand? Make some time to journal. Make some time to realize that sometimes you have to leverage the body mass you have. I leverage the 67 kilograms I have in terms of body mass, because most people laugh at me because of how much muscles I have and my body weight. I was way uglier than this, and I was a person who was far dependent than this person, and I realized I'm my best version, although other people laugh at my best version. You have to understand that when you're your best version, you are your best version in life, and you look the best that you've ever had and you ever have been, and people are laughing at you and they're laughing at something about you. You have to understand that they don't understand life, those people, and it's really their egos doing that. And you have to understand that when you're bullied in life, I promise you they use the bullies, and you just never ever feed into their negativity, and never be a negative person to lash out at them. I promise you that when you lash out at negative people, I promise you that you never lash out at negative people. And when you do that, you understand that people are going to get more negative. So never be a negative person who goes negative. I need you to understand that you never lash out at people who are negative, because that way you become a better person. And when you do lash out at people, I actually tested this out. I lashed out on someone, and guess what happened? I promise you that guy went promoting me as this person who is negative. I promise you, negative people and people who criticize you and laugh at you and bully you, I promise you when you lash out at them, I promise you they go posting a photo of what you said to everything. I promise you they post that photo everywhere online to ruin your reputation. You understand? So make sure you're never doing that. Make sure you're never negative, because when you're spreading negativity out like that, you'll be promoted as that person. You understand? So never promote yourself in a negative way, and realize that you just let them laugh at you. Let them destroy you. Let them do everything. You understand? So you understand that when you let them, you've got nothing to worry about, because you're never inferior. I need you to understand that your ego is something that says never let them. You go and let them, because you understand Jesus. Jesus let them kill him. You have to understand, you let people kill you too. You let people destroy you. You let people be violent with you. You let people criticize you and throw rocks at you. You understand? Because that way, you understand you're living more like Jesus, and you're more forgiving. Because when you're never letting a woman go anywhere, I promise you, you're a protective person, and you never be protective like that. You understand? I mean, you be a person who's really letting her go everywhere. You let your husband go. You let your husband talk to anybody. Although when they cheat on you, you never have to be with them. You understand? You never have to be with him. You can go somewhere else. You understand? You deserve something better then. I mean, what would I do in that situation? I would leave. I would leave. I never need a person cheating on me. You understand? Because guess what? I can do better than. I mean, I can do better than a woman who cheats on me. You understand? I mean, that's just a personal preference. I don't have to be with a woman who cheats on me with another man. You understand? I can just go leave. I never need a woman like that. You have to understand, you go and be loyal towards yourself to grow, and that way you will grow and you'll be a foundational person who's really lifting yourself in the process. So when you're making videos such as this, make sure you have grid lines in the middle of your video, and that way you have 9 boxes, and make sure that your face is in the middle of the camera, because that way you'll find out that no matter what happens, you always have a nice beautiful video, and you're doing it somewhere quiet, because I started off this video with people walking by, and no matter what did I do? I came into the toilet over here, I stood for 1 hour, and guess what? I gave you some content, I've done some content here, and I promoted myself, and that's the whole point. I did it for something greater, and I realized no matter what, that is the whole point of living. So guys, no matter what, make sure you share this video around, make sure that you're a person encouraging others to succeed, and that's why no matter what, you'll get ultimately what you want when you make others get what they want. You understand? So no matter what, make sure that you're making other people succeed and inspired to go and get what they want, because that way you will always get what you want in terms of life. And you have to understand, it's really about what you need in life. So be able to really focus upon your needs today. I mean, you need accommodation today, you need growth today, you need to study upon knowledge today, you need to be able to eat better and become vegan, you need to be sober, guys, and you need to realize that reading books is going to get you a much better life, and you have to be disciplined to stay away from certain places. I named a few places in this video in terms of what to stay away from, and make sure that you're always repeating the videos, and if you need more information, you always got my videos and you repeat them, because each time you repeat them, you'll learn more. You understand? I mean, if you missed anything in this video, make sure you repeat it. You understand? You have to understand that no matter what, these days in my life, what do I really do? I understand what I've read, every single book. I understand in terms of my life, I've read over 700 books. You understand? Because you understand that every single book I've read, I understand it now. How do I understand it? Because I understand how to grow. I understand how to grow, and I understand that those books are based on what I do today and how to grow. And that's the comprehension right there. I can really see 700 books and what they're saying. You understand? So you need to be a person who can see that, and you have to understand you need to learn the skills to grow, and each and every video I'll teach you more and more skills and ideas about how to grow. You just have to make sure you apply them. I also say, no matter what, I please say that you guys share this video around with your friends and with people nearby. You have to understand that your friend is only something greater than you, and realize that those people around you are never really your friend. You just go and share this video anyway, you do it for something greater than you, and you realize that when you're sharing free content that's really going to help people, you're going to help more people in the process anyway, and that's the power of what you can do. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.